But up next, though, Dolph Ziggler versus Luke Harper for the Intercontinental Championship in a rematch from TLC. But much like Rollins and Cena, no stipulation attached, which I thought was for the better. Easily the best singles standard match, with the exception of the ladder match at the pay-per-view. The best singles match these two have had over the Intercontinental Championship up to this point. Great matchup, really enjoyed it. Dolph Ziggler getting attacked by Luke Harper before the contest, and very similar to their when Luke Harper won the Intercontinental Championship for the first time a month and a half ago, right before Survivor Series, when the Authority laid out Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler fought back against Luke Harper and all this other stuff, and he had to fight back against Harper the entire matchup, fighting an uphill battle. Eventually was proved to be too much for him and lost the IC title to Luke Harper. So a similar story being told here. Harper, taking advantage of Ziggler before the matchup. So it added a unique feel to it, and saying that this is not any ordinary championship matchup. This means something. There is a chance that Harper wins back the title here. I did not rule that out whatsoever, given how many title changes that we've seen with the Intercontinental Championship for the last 3 to 4 months, so that wouldn't have surprised me in the least. But still, though, I thought this was a great match. A lot of awesome chemistry that Ziggler and Harper have. A lot of close near falls from Harper especially, and Ziggler hitting... I think Harper was setting up a really sweet spot in this matchup, and where Harper was setting up for the clothesline, and Dolph Ziggler reversed into the super kick, but Harper hit the clothesline anyway, and it was a 6 series of maneuvers. I thought that was awesome, and a sweet combination, I guess you can call it. So I thought that was a great touch for a very close near fall. And Harper at one point hitting the Michinoku driver, I think it's what it's called. I mean, he's been doing that forever now, but I just thought it was interesting when Michael Cole actually called the move by its name for the first time, and I think ever, which I thought was awesome. And JBL was like, what did you just call it? It's like the Michinoku driver. And JBL was like, Jerry Lawler's like, oh, that's a new move, I think. He's like, no, he's had it for a while. I just don't call it by its name. And I mean, he didn't say that, but he did say that Harper's been doing it forever, so I thought that was funny. Christmas miracles, I guess, are possible after all. So Dolph Ziggler comes out victorious after 2 super kicks and a zigzag to Harper to retain the Intercontinental title. Great match. Ziggler being interviewed by Jerry Lawler after the contest, saying that 2015 is going to be his year. And they've been really pushing that since Survivor Series. After the huge win that he picked up at Survivor Series, the huge win where he won back the Intercontinental Championship in his hometown of Cleveland at TLC a couple of weeks ago, they've been really pushing the narrative that Dolph Ziggler, 2015 is going to be his year. And I really hope it is. They're really pushing that. It's not going to be a great year for him, but they're pushing that 2015 is going to be the year where Dolph Ziggler becomes the man in WWE. Not necessarily like the next John Cena, like the face of the company, where he finally becomes a main eventer again. And I guess you can make the case that he kind of already is. He's been main eventing Raw. He main evented the Survivor Series pay-per-view where he won for his team all by himself. So, I mean, with the help of Sting, obviously, but you know where I'm going with this. Still, though, Dolph Ziggler, is 2015 going to be the year where he finally becomes a main eventer? I sure as hell hope so. I don't want to put too much faith in WWE that they're finally pushing him the right way, because we've seen this with Dolph Ziggler before. I thought 2011 would be his year when he was contending for the World Heavyweight Championship against Edge week after week over on the SmackDown brand, and that really went nowhere. Dolph Ziggler was, back to becoming just another guy in the roster when he moved to Raw a couple of months later. So I thought 2011 was going to be his year. I thought 2013 was going to be his year when he beat John Cena at the end of 2012 in that awesome ladder match in the main event of TLC. And granted, he did win the World Heavyweight Championship, but it was one of the most lackluster championship reigns in the history of that title, because he got injured, he was out for a while. In his first title defense, in his first match back, he lost to Del Rio. So I'm really, really hoping, maybe it's an every other 2-year thing, every other year they try to push Dolph Ziggler towards the top of the card. I really don't know. But I'm really, really hoping that 2015 is going to be the year that Dolph Ziggler finally breaks through that proverbial glass ceiling and re-enters the main event scene where he belongs. And I mean, that, like I said before, I don't have much faith in WWE. I'm not holding out hope, because we have seen before all these start and stop pushes with Dolph Ziggler, and that people, by a certain point, just stop caring about him and think of him solely as a mid-card guy. Thankfully, they've changed that perception in the eyes of many when they had him win at Survivor Series, they had him win at TLC in an awesome match. So I'm really, really hoping that this will be the year where they finally deliver on their promise. Dolph Ziggler, will he become World Heavyweight Champion again? Who knows? After Brock Lesnar drops that title and we finally get the title back on an active member of the roster, it is possible. I would say there is a chance that Ziggler could become World Champion again in 2015. hopefully they can just keep on pushing him towards the top. I mean, this would not be the first time. It'd actually be like the 50th time where we've seen a wrestler, like, they try to push him towards the top going into the new year, saying, oh, this is going to be a big year for the new guy, for so-and-so, for Kofi Kingston, for Wade Barrett versus Cesaro. And then they go back on their promise, and then they're back to jobbing and just being another guy on the roster by, the midpoint of the year. So I'm really, really hoping, and I mean, that this Dolph Ziggler is different, in that this guy helped save the WWE in storyline, obviously, at Survivor Series. They gave him his 4th IC championship. He's finally making that title mean something, which is awesome. But I guess only time will tell. That's really all I can say. I mean, I hope they're finally being truthful and they'll finally deliver on their promise and they'll finally make Dolph Ziggler a main event star that he was destined to be. But like I said, only time will tell in terms of whether Dolph Ziggler will get the push that he most definitely deserves.